6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. A scary story out of Lee County tonight, where two men are accused of trying to kidnap children. Layman Palmer and Daniel George are both charged with attempted kidnapping. Saturday, Lee County deputies were called to Pine Ridge Racetrack, where witnesses say two men were allegedly trying to use stuffed animals to lure children between the ages of 8 and 11 into their van. When the children did not listen to the men, one of them started to chase the kids. Lee County Sheriff's Office asked if you recognize Palmer or George as someone that has attempted to kidnap a child to give them a call. Making police arrest a man believed to be behind a morning time drug deal gone bad. 32-year-old Derek Cotton is charged with armed robbery. Officers were called to a downtown store about a person being robbed about 9 a.m. this past Thursday. Police Chief Divine Beck says a drug deal is what led up to Cotton pulling out a gun and taking some drugs. Cotton is out on bond. Columbus police make 3 arrests in a reported armed robbery. Devin Tate, Kajarius Anderson, and Terrius Armistad were all arrested in connection with the alleged crime. Police Chief Fred Shelton confirmed their arrests. The official charges they are facing have not been released. The alleged holdup happened on Burns Circle last week. Investigators were able to interview witnesses before eventually learning more about the armed robbery. Police released information that they were looking for Anderson shortly afterwards. A car was recovered the next day. More information is expected to be released later on. Everybody experiences stress. It's no secret that some jobs are more stressful than others, but a shocking study from the CDC shows that 1 in every 6 veterinarians has considered suicide. Our Cash Matlock talks with experts on how and why this is. He joins us in the studio with more. Cash.
Well, that's right, Joey. Additional studies from the Journal of American Veterinary Medical Association state that vets are 3.5 times more likely to commit suicide than the general population. However, area animal doctors and psychologists say they're working to bring those numbers down.
And it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and you experience a severe burnout is basically what they're calling it. It's a severe depressive episode, and sometimes that episode can lead to suicide.
Dr. Karen Emerson started the Emerson Animal Hospital in West Point 5 years ago. She says opening her own practice was one of the hardest things she's ever done.
When I opened up my own personal business, I had to learn how to be the business owner, the HR manager, the veterinarian, which is composed of just being a veterinarian, guys. It's anesthesiologist, it's dentist, it's the surgeon, it's the internal medicine doctor. It's also the one that deals with all the finances at the end, the accountant.
And running a business costs money. Well-meaning residents who drop off strays don't realize it's the doctor who ends up paying for their care.
Everything you do comes out of your pocket, but they know you're supposed to love and have compassion for their animals. That is one of the hardest things, I think, as veterinarians, to be able to communicate with that client and let them know I love that animal, but I also have to survive.
Psychologist Pauline Prince says it's not all about business, though. In fact, a large portion of the job can be emotional.
So they are also dealing with the loss of this animal despite their best efforts. And so they have to deal with their own emotion with that, and then walk in and tell a family who just lost this pet. So they're really good at what they've been trained to do, which is deal with this medical situation. But as far as communicating that to someone else, that's a little bit of a skill development that needs to happen.
Dr. Prince is currently working with students at the Mississippi State University Vet School to combat the issue before those students strike out on their own.
It's not just about veterinary medicine. It's how do I give you the skill sets to deal with the emotions of this career, with the fatigue of this career? How do I help you remember that you need to take care of yourself in order to take care of others, including their animals?
That is the hardest decision. And when a client looks at you and asks you, what would you do? That is the hardest question as a veterinarian.
Dr. Emerson says at the end of the day, it's all about communication and asking for help when you need it.
And what my goal is to get to the point before they get there, to give them the opportunity to have someone to reach out to, because when I first opened my practice, 5 years ago, I didn't feel like I had anyone to talk to. And I think now is the time to address it, to have a plan of action, and let's put that plan together and do it and save veterinarians, because Lord knows we need them.
Now, we do want to point out that the dog in the video was undergoing a routine procedure and came through with flying colors. According to the CDC, 60% of veterinarians are women, and 10% of those female vets who have died since the year 2000 have died by suicide.
Very important story there. All right, thanks a lot, Cash. Time to turn gears now and turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson, who joins us with a fairly stormy first look. Keith?
Right now, we do have some strong storms. This one up here near Okolona, severe warned for this wind potential. Now, we're sampling some wind here, and near Okolona, at least above the surface, about 30 to 40 miles per hour, perhaps in that brighter green right there. That warning does continue. We also have this storm down here near Ware and Ackerman. It looks like this thing is collapsing a little bit, but still some wind potential. We're sampling some wind speeds over 40 miles per hour. So a couple of complexes moving from southwest to northeast, pretty scattered in nature across our region, and still the potential for a little bit more. If some active weather comes into your area later on today, we'd love to hear about it. Chime in on our social media channels right there. Tomorrow, more scattered storms, highs in the upper 80s, maybe a few more strong storms as well. Your full forecast, Joey, in just a few minutes.
A North Mississippi disaster ministry is making plans for a trip to the Louisiana coast to help those affected by Hurricane Barry. Allie Martin has more.
As maintenance manager for 8 Days of Hope, John Tidwell has spent the past few days making sure trailers are stocked and ready.
We've been loading them up with dehumidifiers and fans. We've took our rapid response trailer. We've actually got it loaded with chainsaws and shirts and everything that you would need when you go into an event.
This event is the aftermath of Hurricane Barry. 8 Days of Hope will send teams into areas hardest hit. Much of the work will involve tearing out drywall and insulation from flooded homes, moving trash and debris to the curb, and doing whatever else needs to be done.
Right now we're partnered with a church, Our Savior's Church out of Lafayette, and so we're kind of letting them take the lead as far as what town we'll end up in. We've really talked about New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and then some of the smaller towns in between that and Lafayette. So a lot of it is, where the major need is.
8 Days of Hope recently opened its national headquarters in Pontotoc County. The new 60,000 square foot warehouse makes it easier for the ministry to help those whose lives have been turned upside down by natural disasters.
We are able to go in and be the hands and feet of Jesus. And so as we're working on their houses, one of the things that we really want to do is have relationships with the families that we're helping. And so we're able to go in and just ask questions and figure out where they are in life. And there always comes to that point where they ask us, why are you here? And so that's the opportunity for us to share that we're here because Jesus loved us first. And we want to go out and we want to serve people because we want to show that same love to the people in this world.
8 Days of Hope crews are ready to move in once the waters recede. In Pontotoc, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
8 Days of Hope is always accepting volunteers. Closing doors at an area, stores have seen some windows of opportunity. We'll take a look when we come back.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back. The old saying goes, when one door closes, another one opens. And Winona residents are hoping that's true after another retailer announces it's leaving town. Our Stephanie Poole talks to an economic developer about the plans to revive the business scene. She joins us live in the studio with more. Stephanie.
Yes, Joey, Winona is experiencing a major loss due to Fred's and Walmart no longer in town. City leaders are now on the search for stores that will offer shopping and supply grocery needs.
We're a strong town and we're going to come back.
With Walmart closed and Fred soon closing up shop, Director of Economic Development Stu Stedham says Wynona is in a tough spot.
Hit with the Fred's closing is really crippling our ability to supply what our citizens need. There's no doubt about that it hurts all of our citizens that were accustomed to running to Walmart for whatever they need.
Now, if consumers want to shop at a Walmart, they will have to travel over 25 miles down the road. But food isn't the only concern on Stedham's list. It's the town's revenue.
When you have one closing of one business, it affects all the businesses because you get less traffic coming through. And then when Walmart left, it really hurt us as far as sales tax is concerned.
Without sales tax, Wynona could experience another issue of not having funds to keep the roads maintained. Stedham says to keep money flowing in the town, citizens should try to shop in Wynona more often.
Well, I know it's more convenient if you can't find it here, go to Walmart, but then they also tend to buy other things that we could be buying here.
Montgomery County District 5 Supervisor Janet Roby Harper says this gives entrepreneurs an opportunity to bring their businesses to Wynona.
It's going to constantly call to try to get any business that we can to come here, relocate here, start here, whatever. We still have Dollar General. We still have the other little mom and pop store.
In the meantime, Harper is asking for citizens to be patient while the town works to bring in those businesses.
We just try to grow our county.
Stedham asks anyone with business ideas to contact her at the Economic Development Partnership.
The next generation of workforce training development in the Golden Triangle will be on display this week. East Mississippi Community College's Communiversity will host an open house Tuesday through Thursday from 8 until 8. Construction was recently completed on the $42 million facility. EMCC says the Communiversity represents a partnership between local school districts, EMCC, and area industry to create trained workers. There are 16 classrooms and 21 high bay learning areas. The Communiversity is expected to start training its first students this fall.
We've been watching some gusty storms out there over the last hour. We still have a few of those. You can see that outflow boundary right there, looking back to the northwest from Louisville, Mississippi. Another radar update, plus a look at the heat coming our way later this week. After the break, stay with us.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
6:17 or now 6:18 here in downtown Tupelo. Looking back to the southwest, just saw a vivid lightning strike right there. You can see the storm coming on in. Some heavy downpours. The breeze is not too bad thus far. The storm has gotten below severe limits, so this is no longer warned for anything, but coming into Tupelo, Verona, Shannon right now is moving away from areas in Chickasaw County, but some heavy downpours. And let's sample these wind speeds here. Not too impressive at this point. So that's good news. The storm has ramped on down, even though we do have some very good downpours moving through Lee County and Tupelo right now, lifting back to the northeast at about 35-40 miles per hour. The other storm, too, has weakened down in Choctaw County near Ackerman. Yes, some downpours, but not really a lot of activity, even though we are still sampling some wind speeds above 30 miles per hour in the atmosphere. That too is weakening as it drifts off to the northeast, so it looks like that's not really going to be a problem either. So we have had a couple of these complexes move on through here over the last hour. This is the radar and satellite in our area. There's a little bit more back to the southwest and west too. Can't rule out going into the evening and overnight an isolated strong storm continuing around here. The isolated tornado potential for the rest of today looks pretty low. Now, tomorrow, your Tuesday, Again, a gusty storm possible, maybe a brief tornado somewhere across North Mississippi, especially in the northern half of our area, all because of the remnants of Barry. Still some strong wind on the eastern side of it, just above the surface, hence the low-end severe weather threat. Again, down to our southwest right now, there's some heavier rain. I don't know if that's going to get in here for tonight. So what we have out there right now may be what we have to deal with before things shrink in size and scope during the night. And then we'll see some more activity come and develop around here tomorrow. On a scattered basis, rain chances about 60%. We're going to lower rain chances to about 40% on Wednesday, but still we should be in fairly good shape after that, I would suspect. Now, we still have this flash flood watch for northwestern Mississippi for an additional ½ inch to maybe 2.5 inches, although locally heavy downpour is still possible in our area. We are currently in the 80s, although cooler if you have seen a storm wind still from the south, quite breezy. So low 70s tonight. We're looking at temperatures climbing from the 70s to the upper 80s to around 90 tomorrow. Scattered showers and storms possible. Here's your 7-day. 89 to around 90 Wednesday, lower rain chances, low to mid 90s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That typical summertime weather pattern here, 20-30% coverage, and a heat index perhaps over 105.
60 schools in 60 days continues the Aliceville Yellow Jackets Kickoff Alabama Week coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
With 46 days remaining on the countdown until the first kickoff of the college football season, both Ole Miss and Mississippi State being recognized for excellence through the nomination of 2 running backs. The Maxwell Award watch list names both Mississippi State's Kylan Hill and Ole Miss's Scotty Phillips as candidates for the National Player of the Year honor. In his outing as a sophomore, Hill rushed for 734 yards, averaging 6.3 yards per carry and scoring 4 touchdowns. Phillips ran for 928 yards for 12 touchdowns, averaging 6.1 yards per carry. The winner will be announced at the College Football Awards December 12th. We continue the high school football tour with the start of Alabama Week. To kick things off, we visit with the Aliceville Yellow Jackets. The Jackets look to retool heading into the new season after graduating a big senior class. Aliceville is stop number 22 on the high school football tour.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
We're a work in progress, I would put it like that. We have potential to be, I would say, a little bit better than we were last year. Just because of our guys have probably been in this system for about 3 years now. They kind of understand the expectations.
Everything all gas, no brakes, and we got to work, get bigger and stronger and faster.
Our season been going pretty good. Been lifting weights, putting in work, running, getting conditioned.
We've been trying to like get the younger kids to like come in and let them like work so we can like rebuild for what we had lost.
We really can't replace those guys because of they actually came in and made a name for themselves. And it's going to be hard to replace, especially a quarterback that we had last year by the name of Kavon McGraw. I'm just really excited about our 2 young quarterbacks. One is in the 10th grade and one is in the 9th grade. And being excited about those guys and see those guys come to work and those guys being excited, I think it really amps up our whole team because of now all of a sudden you get a Zay Wilkins and you get the receiver core kind of like looking in awe about, oh, this guy really can make this pass, and that kind of gets everybody back excited. As far as trying to get Xavier the ball, well, we really don't give him the ball a whole lot, but he produces the yards. Maybe some games we've probably given the ball at least 12 times out of a game, but at the same time, I think his reps is going to probably go up a little bit, especially in the beginning of the season.
We are going to put up a fight. Every play, every drive, everything is going to be a fight. Nothing's going to be easy.
Hopefully our defense knock out people.
For the defense, we're going to be right. We're going to be right. We ain't going to let nothing get across us. I'll tell you that right now, especially my side. My side is the best side.
60 schools in 60 days with Aliceville High School was brought to you by Shop and Save, Vernon Dental Clinic, Alpha Agent Alicia Clark, and H&R AgriPower.
That's it for sports. We'll have the last look at your weather when we come back. Stay with us.
You in Tupelo, boy, we had a gusty storm just blow on through, probably some wind speeds 30, 40 plus as it did so, and it's still moving north of Tupelo. So if you're watching from Guntown and Kirkville, these areas up here northeast of downtown Tupelo, get ready for a deluge. Gusty breezes, not severe. It's not warned yet, but still some gusty wind, 30, 40 plus in that. Rain chances diminish by the end of the week. The temperature goes on up, Joey.
Yeah, we'll be ready to dry out by the end of the week.
We sure will.
Get the weatherman some rest too, right?
That'll be good.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.